Hello, Easy Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Darth Easy's Movie Anatomy. I almost messed up there trying to call this an Easy K show, but this is a completely different podcast. Alright guys, so welcome to another episode of Darth Easy's Movie Anatomy. Each week on the Darth Easy's Movie Anatomy, we take a movie that's kind of similar to a movie that's coming out, either a movie that was made by a director, or a movie that's similar, or maybe just some bullshit reason I just pick a movie that I want to talk about. So this week in theaters, we had the movie Serenity coming out. I know it's not the Serenity everybody wants. It's not a reboot of Nathan Fillion and the Serenity that people want to see. No, this is starring Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. A movie that's probably going to be terrible. And I say that in all full regards that I like both those actors, and the story could be interesting. I don't even know what the movie's about. I saw a trailer a long time ago. I was like, oh, that could be interesting. But the movie was supposed to come out in September 2018, and then it got pushed to October. Okay, well, that's not that big of a red flag. Now it got pushed to January, so yeah, this movie's going to be probably a terrible movie. But hey, that gives me a good excuse to watch this week's episode of my Movie Anatomy show. This week we are talking about Interstellar. The reason why we're picking Interstellar, both Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey were Interstellar, so that gives me a perfect excuse to watch a movie that I really want to watch again. So with enough things out of the way, let's watch the trailer for Interstellar. Alright, let's get this going, baby. I haven't seen this trailer in a while. When Matthew McConaughey is good, he is good. And he's incredible in this film. And one of the crazy things was one of the guys who plays his son was Timothy Chalamet. You know, he's the guy who's been getting a lot of Oscar buzz the past couple of years. He was in that one film with the gay story with Armie Hammer.
We must confront the reality.
Michael Caine's in like every Christopher Nolan movie. I mean, for a Christopher Nolan movie to be complete, you gotta have Michael Caine in there. It kind of feels like from Christopher Nolan. We're meant to leave it. Director of Inception and Dark Knight trilogy. Maybe one of the best movie trilogies of all time. Dark Knight trilogy is a trilogy I'm actually planning on doing this year on the Movie Anatomy show. I'll probably try to get sometime because I'm going to do Dark Knight whenever the Joker movie comes out, if it comes out this year. But I'm planning on doing Dark Knight sometime this year, and then I'll do the other two. Alright, that's the trailer for Interstellar. Alright, so that was an alright trailer. I mean, some interesting things about it. Alright, so let's get talking about Interstellar. So Interstellar was a movie that came out back in 2014. Feels like a long time ago. I guess it's been 5 years, though, technically, since Interstellar. I was still in college, still had my whole life ahead of me. But let's get talking about this film. So, Interstellar, movie directed by Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite directors of all time. A fellow YouTuber of mine calls this guy overrated. So he's full of crap, because Christopher Nolan, he makes the movies he wants to make, and he's gotten such a leeway with like Warner Brothers and other studios that he can make whatever he wants. And what he made with Interstellar is a very of a callback of another film that I'm not crazy about the film, but I understand the historical thing about it. And this film is very similar to a 2001 A Space Odyssey. And the movie has very similar elements to it, that space and then so the story of Interstellar, the story basically is you have Matthew McConaughey, all right, Matthew McConaughey in space, baby. Anyways, Matthew McConaughey, he goes off and he goes off and he's a father, he's a farmer, and he's trying to provide for his family, but the earth is dying. They can't grow crops anymore, and the earth is coming to an end. McConaughey was a great pilot. He could have done so many things, but all that stuff happened, all died out, so he could never do what he was truly good at. Well, McConaughey in this movie is so funny. The parent-teacher conference, and you kind of getting what this world is, where a lot of humans, they've given up on exploring. That line McConaughey gives in this movie, he said, he just says that we humans, we used to be explorers. We used to go across the seas, across the plains. We put a man on the moon, but eventually we just suck in on the dirt and just forgot our place in the stars. And basically, the scene at the parent-teacher conference, when you learn that a lot of people believe that the moon landing was a hoax, where they believe it was just a way for the United States to get Russia, the Soviet Union, to pay up all their propaganda. That's a little crazy conspiracy theory right there, because hell yeah, we landed someone on the moon. At least I think we did. But anyways, so McConaughey, and basically him and his daughter, they find this GPS location marked in his daughter's bedroom, and they find a location of the secret NASA, who everyone thought was gone, had secretly been working for this time. So the story continues where basically Michael Caine is the director of NASA, and him and his daughter and Hathaway and a couple other people, they want to send they have this equation to the equation of gravity, but they can't really do this plan unless we can figure out gravity, and we have to figure out where we're going to put all these people on Earth and how we're going to get out of Earth. So McConaughey was one of the last people on NASA who could actually fly a plane. Everyone else was just more of they were simulators. McConaughey actually had experience, so he was the perfect man for the job. But he has to leave his daughter behind and his son. He does have a son, I guess. He doesn't really talk about him much. So they go off to space, and they trying to save the world. Plan A is to get the people off Earth, find them a new place to live, and that's the story. Is them going into space, and they're trying to save the humankind. And they go through some little rough passages. They find this wormhole. The wormhole allows them to go to a different galaxy, and when they get there, they find out there are 3 planets they can go to, and it doesn't really go well. And the one thing I really like about this film plays a lot with a lot of scientific knowledge. Like, the thing that's really cool is the planets that's close to Garmantia is close to a black hole. It's basically a black hole, but the time is disfigured. Basically what that means is, it means time does not go in the normal standard that it is on Earth time. And this thing is actually, the thing that is cool about it is this actually does exist. Is in planet like Pluto, for instance. You go to Pluto, and an hour there is 5 years or something on Earth, and that's what an hour on this one planet is 7 years for Earth, for people on Earth. And it's a very interesting thing about it's one of the most interesting things about this movie is that you land on this planet. They're trying to get in, get out, and trying to figure out if this planet, and it's just this planet that's like this water planet, and they get hit by a tidal wave, and they've been gone 23 years. They leave one of their crewmen on the ship, and he was trying to figure out gravity and try to send it back to Earth. It just doesn't work out. Maybe he's turned into an old man for McConaughey and all of them. It's been a couple hours, but for him, it's been 23 years. And you see messages with McConaughey. You see him talking. You see his son, who the later son was played by Casey Affleck, and Casey Affleck in this movie is such a douchebag, and you're just like, no wonder no one really cares about. No wonder McConaughey doesn't care about you, man. Well, since they've been gone 23 years, they don't have enough fuel to check out the other two planets, and they go check out Dr. Mann's planet, and Dr. Mann, one of the cool parts about this movie is just the secrets that Christopher Nolan is able to keep, because other films you would not know that the guy who played Dr. Mann was who he is, but you find out Dr. Mann is Matt Damon. You're just like, oh, wait, is that Matt Damon? Holy crap, that's Matt Damon. And Matt Damon is kind of the antagonist, the villain of this story, and it's kind of, the movie, his character's name might be a little spot on the nose, but his name is Mann, and he's basically, he turned on that switch just so he could get rescued, and basically screws over humanity, and knowing that if he had just hit that switch, he'd be alive. And McConaughey calls it right. He says, "You're a coward." He said, "Yeah, you're right. I am a coward. I knew if I hit that switch, someone would come and rescue me." And he never thought he would. He never thought he would die out there. He thought that he was so arrogant that he thought his planet would be the best planet ever. But it just didn't turn out that way. And he tried to destroy. And he's just. It's just that's part of the movie whenever he's headbutting McConaughey's helmet, and he's like, "What are you doing? There's a 50 you got a 50% chance of breaking your own helmet." He's like, "Well, that's the best odds I've had in years," and so it's hitting him even harder. It's just funny. That's a real funny moment of the movie. So, Matt Damon and they're all rushing to get to their pod, to the spaceship that can basically determine what's going to happen to the rest of the mission. And Damon tries to force everything. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it blows up in his face, and he gets killed. And that moment where he says, "There's a moment," and boom, everything blows up, and you're just like. And then another cool thing is, there is no sound in space. You go out in space, and there's not going to be any sound. And I love it. Films like this absolutely captures that, because there's no sound in space. And when you see the explosion, you see it, but you don't hear anything, because, like I said, there is no sound in space, and it's a pretty cool scene to see. So another day, so they have to get to the docking, and that was one of the more badass lines. And it's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Docking." And the score, I had to talk about the score, because if I don't talk about it now, I'm going to forget. Hans Zimmer's score for Interstellar is incredible. It's such an incredible score of this movie, and I absolutely love. That's one of the things I love about this film. I thought the score was incredible, and just like playing the organ, I thought it's just incredible music. I play at the beginning of each episode. I always try to play a theme score, a song that was in the movie, and the Interstellar theme is just incredible. It's just such an incredible score to play. And Hans Zimmer does him and Christopher Nolan I think they are probably the new generation's version of Spielberg and John Williams, because every theme, the Inception theme, the Dark Knight theme, so many of his themes I love. And I love Christopher Nolan's movies. And basically at the end, McConaughey sacrifices himself. He sends Anne Hathaway to try to start a new human colony if his plan messes up. McConaughey and TARS, the robots. The robots are cool too. They're like these little shape things and very, very cool little robots. But McConaughey goes into the black hole to try to figure out gravity and try to save everyone on Earth. But the follow-up back plan is to start a new human colony so the human race continues on. And basically, so McConaughey enters his fifth dimension where he can interfere with time and space. And I forgot to mention, we got Murphy. Murphy is played by a bunch of people. You have Mackenzie Foy. She was just in that horrible Nutcracker in the Four Realms. And to be honest with you, I was just like, she looks so familiar. And I was like, she's Murph. That's Murph. That's the girl who was in that stupid Nutcracker movie. I mean, good for her. And because I think she was also in that horrible Twilight movie as the child. But yeah, she's great in this little Interstellar film. And yeah, but basically you have the time traveling bookcase, because basically you have the fifth dimension was left there, the wormhole, everything was left behind by the future human race. Basically, TARS even says it. He says no human could create this. And he said, yeah, not now, but in the future they can. And they looked and they saw the Cooper family, where Coop was he could fly the ships, but it was Murphy was going to be the one who was going to be able to save the human race. And that's one thing I just really, really enjoy about this movie, is that the movie has that great theme that family, friends, or your loved ones are the things that really tie everything together. And basically, McConaughey leaves the message of the secret to gravity in the watch. Make fun of it all you want. I mean, I understand it. I know it really makes no sense for the movie personally, but I just enjoy the hell out of that scene so much. So basically, McConaughey, he disappears, and he wakes up in a hospital bed and realizing that he succeeded, and his daughter helped humanity, got him off Earth, and now he's like 128, and you see his daughter, and she's like, you need to go. I'm about to die, and no father should have to see their child die. But she said, I knew you would come because my father told me that he would return one day. So yeah, Interstellar, I mean, it's just such an incredible film, and there's so much more I could talk about. And there's also a lot of negative things I could say about this film. This would probably be one of the weaker Christopher Nolan films, but to be honest with you, I still love it. Even the weaker Christopher Nolan films, I love space films, and I love this film. So let's get on to the next part of the show. Let's talk about the movie thesis. The movie thesis is the part of the show where you're like, if you go to a bar and they're talking about Interstellar, this is what you're going to say about Interstellar, and this is what you would say about everything else. And for me, the movie thesis of this film is, this is the most ambitious space film since 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I think this film this movie takes a lot of chances. Some of them succeed, some of them don't succeed. But I think overall this film is a very well done film. And it's just overall acted, directed, all the acting in it, Michael Caine, McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, all do a very good job. And I love this film, man. I think this movie does take a lot of chances, and I think this is a very ambitious space film. Alright, so the next part of the show is the wow moment. This is basically what you're like, are you seeing this right now? Oh my god, that's so cool, I can't wait to watch the rest of this movie. So for me, I got a few moments, like the wave, whenever McConaughey's like, that's not a mountain, that's a wave, and it's just a very cool scene. The docking, when you're hearing the music, and when man destroys the ship, and Hathaway says, what are you doing? He's like, docking. It's just and it also the symbolism of man might be a little on the nose for Matt Damon's character being Dr. Man, and man can kind of be destruction of humanity. But to be honest with you, I very much enjoy that part of the film. All right, now let's get on to star profile. Now we look on to the actors, directors, whoever was involved in this movie. So first off, we got to talk about Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, at this point of his career, before he did Interstellar, before he did like The Lincoln Lawyer, we'll go before that, he was in a bunch of romantic comedies. He was in that one movie with Richard Linklater that really got his career going. And it's just a film that people love. So McConaughey was just this guy who no one really thought, he's okay, but he's just going to be this dumb little actor. He's going to show up in these Julia Roberts, Jennifer Gardner movies, and that's it with McConaughey. But then his gears and his mind said, I got to build a legacy here. And he started off, he did Lincoln Lawyer. Lincoln Lawyer, very good film. But then he went on to do... He went to do Mud. Mud was incredible. Magic Mike, even though it's a stupid stripper movie, he is amazing in that film. The Wolf of Wall Street, he's in the movie for maybe 20 minutes, but he is incredible. And then Dallas Buyers Club, the film he won the Oscar for. And True Detective might be the best of the entire McConaissance, which is what it was called. And he was incredible in that CB series. If you've not seen True Detective, holy God, watch it. That the one scene where the one tracking shot in the trailers is amazing. And then finally Interstellar. But Interstellar was really the last film of the McConaissance. But he had such a great streak, and so Interstellar he's amazing in, and I'm hoping McConaughey can rekindle a little bit of that McConaissance again, because we haven't really seen him in a lot of great stuff since then. And I really want to see that McConaughey I saw in Interstellar. I mean, I was watching it tonight, and I was just like, man, I really want that Matthew McConaughey back, because he's incredible in this film. Next, we move on to Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway is an actress who a lot of people don't like. I like Anne Hathaway. I probably have a crush on Anne Hathaway, but I think she's incredible. I think she's very good in this film. She worked with Christopher Nolan in The Dark Knight Rises. She plays Selena Kyle, or what's known as Catwoman. She's very good in this film, and but this wasn't a film that really broke her out or anything. Next, we move on to Jessica Chastain. Jessica Chastain is an actress who I think is a very, very good actress. I mean, this movie did not break her out or anything, but this was just a continual, like, okay, yeah, she's pretty good as an actress. Zero Dark 30 was really the film that broke Jessica Chastain as a huge movie star. I mean, she did this. Has done Interstellar a couple years ago. Molly's Game. She was incredible in Molly's Game. And then she's getting ready to be in It Chapter 2. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does as the older version of that character from the first It. Yeah, she's good. But the star of this movie is Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, I would consider the best director of the 21st century. His movies have hit an emotional level. I mean, he has had such a great career. I mean, you look at Christopher Nolan, and Christopher Nolan has really modeled what a lot of directors should copy what they did, because Christopher Nolan, he started off, he did Memento. Then he went on to do, he did the Dark Knight trilogy. Started off, he did Batman Begins, but then he took a passion project. He did The Prestige. Then he did The Dark Knight. Then he did Inception. Then he did Dark Knight Rises, and then he finished it off with Interstellar. And now he's doing whatever he wants, because he's Christopher Nolan. He's got a great name, and he always takes his time finding a project he likes. Doing Dunkirk, doing war film. He's done space films. He's done a lot of movies that make people think. Inception might be one of my... Inception, if I was taking Star Wars out of the category, Inception might be my favorite film of all time. And I will do Inception one day. But I love Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite directors of maybe all time. Alright, so now let's get to best quotes. One of them I put down, Newton's third law. You gotta leave something behind. We used to look up at the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt. And then love is the one thing that transcends time and space. Love the quotes. like I said, I love Christopher Nolan's films, and I really love the quotes in this film. All right, now let's rank this film. So I'm going to say Interstellar is a good time, but it's not one you're going to want to watch every so often. I think it's a very good film. It's just not one I love. It's not a film I watch all the time. It's a film I watch every couple of years. I'm like, man, that is such a good film. It's not a bad film. It's a great film, and I'll watch it again eventually. And it's a great Nolan film. And if you've not seen Interstellar, do yourself a favor, watch Interstellar. It's a little long, but really the time goes by really fast because when I split this movie into 2 days. I watched the first 40 minutes and then I finished the movie tonight. And I love Interstellar. It's just such a good film. Alright guys, and now that's all I have to say about Interstellar. Now all that's left of the show is the pitch. So next week I am going to be talking about How to Train Your Dragon, one of the animated films. I'm getting ready for How to Train Your Dragon 3. I really just want to call it How to Train Your Dragon 3. I don't really want to call it whatever it's going to be called. But I'm getting ready for February, and I'm going to be bringing in a special guest. At the moment, I'm going to be bringing in my co-host of the Easy Cage show, Rainy Cage. He'll be live in studio, and we'll be talking about the first How to Train Your Dragon, because he loves those films, and I'm looking forward to checking that film out again. I've actually already watched the film. I've just been waiting for him to watch it again so we could do a podcast on it. So guys, that ends another episode of Darth Easy's Movie Anatomy. Make sure you click that like button, subscribe, tell your friends about Easy Nation, and also just support the show. The more views I get, the more likes I get, the bigger I can make the show go. So guys, until next week, all too easy, and bye!